Well, Old Mutual shareholders enjoying the news today. Old Mutual increasing its interim dividend by 9%. It'll implement a 3 billion rand share buyback scheme as well. The company is saying their results from operations for the first half of the year up by 16%. There has been quite a significant drop, though, in their mass and foundation cluster. Jurie Strydom is the CEO at the Old Mutual Group. Jurie, good evening and thanks for your time. You've generated a lot of cash. Why are you implementing this share buyback now? Is it just about giving money back to shareholders?
Hi, Stephen. Good to be with you. Look, I think that, we've got a capital allocation framework actually that we released today to our investors. The horizon that we're in right now, we're considering disbursements to distributions back to shareholders as something that is compelling and is a vote of confidence, I think, in our business and in our balance sheet.
You were able to grow your results from operations by 71%. Where did that growth come from? What were you doing? I mean, what was changing? I mean, there's been obviously a lot happening in stock markets, but from operations, what was changing?
So the results from operations was up 16% and 71% up in the Old Mutual Insure business, which is our short-term insurance business. So that business has improved its margin from 0.9% last year to 9.7% this year. And so in the short-term insurance industry, there's been a recovery generally in margin this year versus last year, and I think we'll see that when comparing to our peers. But there has also been an element of operational turnaround at Old Mutual Insure relative to peers as well, which we think is that element is certainly we believe sustainable going forward.
You've been able to get more efficiencies out of it.
Yeah, it's the short-term insurance business is about managing all the small margins. It's your pricing, it's dealing with your claims management, it's remediating poor performing businesses. Or books of business. So it's a whole range of factors that come into play.
You refer to a sort of new framework, a more focused approach to operations in your SENS statement. Is that related at all to what happened in your mass and foundation cluster? It did drop by 15%.
Yeah. So the mass and foundation cluster reflects very specific changes that we made in our what we call our assumptions and methodologies, essentially how we value our business, and it's taking into account the more competitive space that the mass foundation cluster is in, with heightened competition and higher lapse rates than has been the case historically, and that's been the case over a number of years. So that's that very particular factor. But the broader changes that we're making in the business is really around organizing ourselves for more focused execution. And so looking at creating over time a leaner corporate center that's much more focused on capital management and doing that well, and that's just something you'll hear us talk a lot about. And then creating clusters, making sure we have clusters of businesses that are able to manage their businesses end to end across the value chain and are able to execute better and compete better.
So, I mean, do you think you're going to be able to deal with that competition in the mass and foundation cluster? Obviously, there'll be a little bit of work at it, but do you think that is something you'll be able to overcome? You'll be able to get some of that back?
Absolutely. I mean, Old Mutual has got a massive presence in the mass market. We've got a very strong advisory model and a full product set and a very strong brand. So I think this was just a recognition of the fact that it's a more competitive business, and so as a result, margins are tighter than they were, and businesses need to adapt to that.
You're investing another 1.6 billion rand over the next financial year in your new bank. There are plenty of other operators. Discovery seems to be a little bit ahead of you. They sort of broke even in the last half. Are you worried you might be a little bit behind the curve? There are other entrants to the market and they're just a little bit ahead?
So our approach to banking is really building off what we already have in our business. So Old Mutual already operates a lending business that operates through 346 branches countrywide. We've got a 15.5 billion rand lending book. We've got 400,000 active transactional customers in our money account base. So our approach is really kind of leveraging that and rolling out through our branches to our customers. And so we're adding this transactional capability to the range of products that we already have. The mass business, the banking space and the mass banking space, of course, is competitive, but we think that we've got a proposition that will have traction.
So it's a proposition that you can compete against other people very strongly. You've got some of the backbone that you need for it, but price will be a big factor too.
Sure, of course, and that's good for customers, right? So we welcome the competition. We'll go out with our proposition, and we believe we'll be able to compete on it. I think to make the point that we banking is a combination of digital and technology, but also the human touch, and in some cases bricks and mortar. And so we think that we can bring both of those to the party. The bank build has been the significant capital we've invested has been to make sure that we're building on the best of breed latest technology.
Jurie Strydom, thanks so much. Really appreciate it. CEO at the Old Mutual Group.